Hey folks, I'm Charles Neal. Nowadays, with the huge interest in freeform live edge slabs and tabletops and whatever, we've been doing slabs and whatever forever, I think. So it's not a new form. But, you know, there's several things with slabs, and I see a lot of questions and a lot of issues. But one of the things is, you know, trying to find that perfect slab that kind of fits what you want and kind of gives you the look you want and so forth and so on. That can be a little bit of an issue. So we kind of came up with a technique that we use to help us out. One of the attractions of freeform anything is the bark, that live edge, and you know, normally the bark is darker than the surface, and it kind of outlines it and makes for a pretty good looking piece. But bark has an issue. Experience has shown, despite usually your best efforts, you're not going to keep it on. Particularly on thick bark wood, like walnut or something where you got a heavy bark. I have drowned them, soaked them, saturated them in epoxy, CA glues, everything. Ultimately, they come off. You know, pretty much irrespective of what you do, you want to get the bark off. Now, I will say this, that typically underneath that bark there's a little membrane, and oftentimes it will stay. But if you can scratch it or scrape it off pretty easily, you might want to go ahead and take it off. Now, it doesn't matter how you take it off. I've used everything from a draw knife to just a scraper, sandpaper, a random orbit sander, just get it off. One of my favorite little tricks is I want to create some texture on the edge of it. So what I would do is I would use whatever I had available. And you know, like here's a rotary tool, just with a little carbide burr on it. Now you can see relatively quickly, you start to get a nice texture in here, kind of like bark. If you want to get a little more aggressive, these carbide wheels can sure make quick work of it. They don't always come in the shape that you want. So there again, since we're creating a faux edge, we can make it any shape we want. Now this is where a little aggressive wheel, you know, you could use a flap sander, again, draw knife, anything. The real key to this is going to lie in the finishing of it. Now, this is going to feel rough and textured. probably the best. And when you saw me going across it, I was just creating some little scratches and just texture. But the best way to sand it, I found, is with a very soft, I emphasize soft, wire brush. Now what's going to make this believable, for lack of a better term, is the finish. And we need to glaze it. Now what is glazing? Glazing is when you apply another stain or colorant over a sealer or another finish. Or finish. It's not applied directly to the raw wood. Okay, all I did for demo is I just sprayed a little bit of spray can lacquer on here, just so you get the premise of what we're doing. Now for a glaze, I'm just using a little bit of a gel stain. You can buy a commercial glaze, but a gel stain, pretty much anything. As dark as you want. And the object of the game is just to let it leave as much as you want, remove as much as you want, and just create a darker edge that looks like bark. If you want to get a little bit more contrast to it, simply let it dry a little bit, sand over it, and you can pretty much create any look you want. So, just because you can't find that perfect slab like you want, get creative. Make you one. That's what we do as woodworkers. I'm Charles Neal. I'll catch you later.